the second video of your free video series on how to clear the path to your optimum health. In this video, I would like to talk to you about how we got there at the first place and what we can do about it. So, if you remember in the first video, 9 out of 10 people are dying of degenerative diseases, right? And we need to understand first how we got there. And there's one thing that I want to explain to you is how we work as well in terms of how our brain is being colonized by a story. And those story, influence our behavior. We're wired by story. Story colonize our brain, and this is how we develop our culture instead of, in terms of humankind. And there's a story that is strongly embedded in us. And this story is, if you get sick, it's bad luck. And there is a healthcare system in place that can save you, right? This is the story, and this story is wrong, right? On all levels. First, because there's no such thing as being lucky or unlucky, or being healthy or unhealthy. You're actually in charge of that. We will see later in more details about DNA and how things works. But here, you need to understand that the way we see health is unhealthy. Our approach is very passive because of that story. So we go towards quick fixes, right? Instead of trying to go towards something that is sustainable, changing habits over time, we more likely, let's say if you want to lose weight, to go for a quick fix. And the system is also wired this way. I mean, you just have to go Google weight loss solution. You will find thousands of them, right? And some are really creepy, but you always have those quick fixes, and then one every new week, to satisfy our appetite. A new diet, a new way of training, all of this, is true. So we tend to follow those trends instead of trying to develop something that is specific to ourselves, something that is personalized to us, and something we can actually over time master, and that is designed to us. So that's one big problem, because we easily pop the pill instead of trying to learn on how to implement new habits that will keep things healthy this way. Because we know that, for example, for weight loss, right? Being overweight is actually a byproduct of a physiological imbalance. So it's actually not being healthy. Now, another thing is just because of the passivity, we tend to go to the doctor before, when we get sick, instead of trying before that to optimize our health, to make sure we won't get sick, right? So we don't have this proactive approach. And unfortunately, the system we are in now, there's powerful institutions that are actually keeping us trapped in this system. And I will talk about a few here, maybe only one or two, but I want to start by the pharma industry, right? And I'm trying not to be passionate about it, not too much, but it really drives me nuts, because the pharma industry and drug adversity, death by drug reaction, is actually the third cause of death in this world. More than terrorism and car accident combined. But it doesn't need the news every day, does it? And that's really upsetting me, because we tend to, if we get sick, we go and see our GP, and our GP will give us some drug, some sort of medicine, because 99% of the people will go to the GP expecting something, and 95% of the people will get it, okay? Except if you have a GP who is a bit more, not following the trend so much, and a bit more have an holistic approach. However, it's quite complicated for them. And a lot of them actually, doctors, which are very conscious about what's happening now, goes towards more functional medicine or private holistic healthcare system. But that's another subject on its own. However, my point is here that there is powerful institution that just for the sake of making more profit, because the pharma industry is actually more profitable than the banking industry, right? And it comes of dealing with our health, and this is dangerous. Even the World Health Organization is talking about conflict of interest, where the Titan are making an eye-watering 47% net profit per year, and half of this will go into marketing instead of trying to come up with solutions in research, right? So this is where we are. And then you have the food industry, and I'm not going to go towards this a lot, but using the pesticide, all the processed foods, all the things that are actually, in the shop, our daily food shopping is contaminated, and I would, it's not a strong word enough, to be honest. It is almost poison with things that will have an impact on our health, impact on the cellular health of ours. So this is where we are now, and all of this needs to change, because as my friend Lao Tzu once says, if you do not change the direction, you may end up where you are heading, right? It's common sense, but this is where we are, and I think this is time once again to take responsibility towards our health, to go into a more new paradigm shift. Do you remember how we put an end to this infectious diseases? This is the same that is waiting to happen now. And it comes from us by accepting where we are now, being the observer of what we are now, to be more proactive towards our health and take responsibility for it. Because being healthy is actually your responsibility, is one of the gifts of life that you have, to have this amazing body. You are born with full of energy, and it's your responsibility to keep it this way. And I think we need to learn from the start on how to do that. And I like this word responsibility because there's two in one, right? So response and your ability. How do you respond to the situation as it is now? Are you being passive or proactive? And this is what you need to do now, right? Because we also now have the ability of doing it. I mean, compared to 100 years ago, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago, now within single tap on your phone you can find out about things. You have access to all those information. So there's a real potential nowadays that could help you and empower you to make those changes. And another thing is, thanks to this actually, that there's this awakening, and there's this all awakening movement of functional medicine, this whole movement of taking care of your health that is really happening nowadays. So I think all this is leading us to this shift that is we are waiting to happen. However, this revolution, so to speak, towards your health mastery, towards a more proactive approach to your health, will not come without disruption. And you cannot rely on a system that is broken, full of debt, right? It's like an NHS, I mean 40 billion pounds of debt. They are not in the situation where they can change that, right? We're talking about personalized medicine, and they want to implement this, but it's not going to happen because they, especially the politic mess as we are now, it's not going to happen. It's not a priority, but your health is your priority, and you should treat it this way. So this is what I would like to talk to you about, this opportunity in the next video, how we can actually change to that, right? How this new revolution of genomic, because it has never been a better time for you to take control of your health, and now there's a tool that could help you to do it. And this is what we are going to talk about in the next video. So if you want to learn on how to do it, let's be in touch and we'll talk to each other in the next video. See you guys!